6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The president says the government believes ease of doing business is imperative for the prosperity and economic development of the country. The Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved the procurement of over 5 million tons of wheat target with financial limit of 158.5 billion rupees this year. The Minister for Planning has said the government is committed to resolve all outstanding issues regarding determination of net hydel profit to the provinces. The Foreign Minister says the entire nation and the political parties are united on having a minimum deterrence on Kashmir issue and CPAC project. In occupied Kashmir, India did not allow the International Committee of the Red Cross and the Amnesty International to visit the Indian jails to observe the pathetic condition of Kashmiri political prisoners. Turkey and Russia have agreed to increase diplomatic engagements in an attempt to prevent the Syrian government's attacks in the rebel-held Idlib province. And now the news in detail. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has said the government is adopting every measure to promote business-friendly environment in the country. Talking to a delegation headed by the chairman Pakistan Textiles Exporters Association, Khurram Mukhtar, in Islamabad today, he said tough economic conditions of the country call for taking difficult decisions, but the government is committed to improve the economy. He underlined that it is an important component of the government's strategy to reduce the trade deficit by curbing import of non-essential and luxury items. The president said the government is also striving to reduce the cost of doing business and has introduced sales tax zero rating regime for 5 export-oriented sectors, including textiles, leather, carpets, surgical and sports goods. The Economic Coordination Committee has approved the procurement of 5.15 million tons of wheat target with financial limit of 158.5 billion rupees this year. The ECC, which met in Islamabad today with the Prime Minister's advisor on finance, Dr. Abdul Hafiz Sheikh, in the chair, also approved an additional supply of 150 megawatt of power through National Grid to K Electric to address the power shortage in Karachi. The committee approved additional subsidy amounting to 1.8 billion rupees to the tribal electric supply company Tesco for the month of Ramadan to provide additional power supply to 7 tribal agencies of former FATA. The Power Division informed that the government has been paying the electricity bills of domestic consumers of former tribal agencies through a subsidy of 1.3 billion rupees per month. The ECC acceded to the proposal of the Earthquake Reconstruction and Rehabilitation Authority by granting tax exemption to projects being constructed under the Saudi Fund for Development grant. The Minister for Planning, Development and Reforms, Makhdoom Khusro Bakhtiar, says the present government is committed to give due share of net hydel profits to the provinces. Chairing a meeting of the main committee constituted by the Council of Common Interest to deliberate upon the issue of net hydel profits in Islamabad today, he expressed optimism to resolve all the outstanding issues regarding the determination of net hydel profits, which is required to be paid to the province where a hydel power station is located, as per the provision of the Constitution under Article 161, Subclause 2. The Prime Minister's office has expressed disappointment over Balochistan's bureaucracy for not promptly redressing people's complaints. In a letter written to the Chief Secretary of Balochistan, it said the government officers and other officials are committing negligence in the resolution of complaints received on Pakistan Citizen Portal established by the Prime Minister. It said Balochistan is lagging behind all the provinces in the resolution of complaints. The letter stated that the Prime Minister Monitoring Cell has been established to monitor redressal of complaints received on the Pakistan Citizen Portal, where performance of all provinces is being evaluated. It said Prime Minister is apprised about the redressal of complaints on Pakistan Citizen Portal. The Special Assistant on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashikawan, says only an honest leadership can take forward the accountability process, criticizing Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz member Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. In a tweet today, she said the former Prime Minister should tell the nation as to why Air Blue remained in profit, whereas the national airlines in deficit. The Minister for Science and Technology, Chaudhry Fawad Hussain, has announced to provide loans for the execution of technology-based business ideas. In a tweet today, he said anybody who has such a business plan should register it with the Ministry of Science and Technology for evaluation in the month of July. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says the PTI government has decided to initiate political dialogue to build consensus for the creation of South Punjab province. Addressing a news conference in Multan today, he said the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has already introduced a constitution amendment in the National Assembly for the purpose, and we require a two-thirds majority to pass the amendment. The foreign minister said he already had a positive sitting with the Pakistan People's Party, and consultations will be held with other parties, including the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, to convince them to support the constitution amendment. To a question, the foreign minister said the entire nation and the political parties are united on having minimum deterrence, Kashmir issue and CPAC project. He said conspiracies are being made to spoil Pakistan-China relations, but they will not succeed. He said the issue of marriages of some Chinese in Pakistan will be resolved soon, as both foreign officers are working on it. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Asif Kasser, says model villages are being set up for the orphan, destitute and street children across the country. Chairing a meeting of heads of various welfare organizations and philanthropists in Islamabad today, he said orphans and the destitute children will be provided all the basic facilities, including accommodation, education, and medical treatment at the model villages. In occupied Kashmir, India did not allow the International Committee of the Red Cross and the Amnesty International to visit the Indian jails to observe the pathetic condition of Kashmiri political prisoners. Lamenting on the plight of the Kashmiri prisoners at the hands of the barbaric jail authorities in occupied Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference Chairman Sayyid Ali Gilani demanded an early release of Kashmiri prisoners languishing in Indian jails. Meanwhile, internet services continue to remain suspended in Budgam district for the fourth consecutive day today, and the Indian authorities imposed curfew-like restrictions in Magam and Budgam towns to prevent protests against the molestation of a minor girl. Turkey and Russia have agreed to increase diplomatic engagements in an attempt to prevent the Syrian government's attacks in the rebel-held Idlib province. Turkey's presidential communications director, Fahrettin Altun, said in a tweet that his country is worried that the massive attacks by Syrian forces might trigger a humanitarian crisis and cause refugees crises. He said Turkish leadership is in continuous talks with Russia, and the decision of increasing the diplomatic engagements will help reduce violence in the war-torn country. China says it is only taking actions in self-defense in trade dispute with the United States. In a statement, China's foreign ministry spokesperson said the United States is defining the two countries' dispute over trade as a trade war. The spokesperson said China has neither initiated the dispute nor it would escalate it any further. Iran says it does not want a war, and any conflict in the region will have unimaginable consequences. According to Reuters news agency, a senior Iranian official in a statement said his country is ready for any scenario from confrontation to diplomacy, but the United States could not afford another war in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Washington has sent additional military forces to the Middle East, including an aircraft carrier, B-52 bombers, and Patriot missiles in a show of force against what the American officials have said are Iranian threats to its troops and interests in the region. And now cricket in the first T20 of the five-match series at Pretoria, chasing a victory target of 120 runs against South Africa women team. Pakistan women cricket team were 40 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in 7 overs a short while ago. Earlier, Pakistan women team won the toss and elected to field. And finally, the weather. Dust, thunderstorm rain is expected at scattered places in Islamabad, Malakand, Hazara, Peshawar, Kohat, Mardan, Bannu, Dera Ismail Khan, Rawalpindi, Gujranwala, Lahore, Sargoda, Faistabad, Sahiwal, Multan, Dera Ghazi Khan, Bahawalpur, Quetta, Job, Kalat, Makran, Sibri, Nasirabad division, Sakkar, Larkana, Shahid Benazirabad, Karachi divisions, Gilgit, Baltistan, and Kashmir during the next 24 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.